Singing. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our take on it featuring Slim and Shona from P Town to ATL. Hello, Shona. How are you? Haven't seen
Hi,
you in a whole
guys.
week. Haven't
I
seen you in a whole week.
know,
Wow.
I know. I've missed you all.
Yes. Well, anyway, here we are. Here we are. And I know people been anticipating and waiting for us to come on because just like we miss each other, and hopefully you all miss us because we definitely miss you all out there that's watching. We really appreciate you joining us on our journeys that we take here every week. But Shona, how's the week been for you? Has it been a busy week? Has it been?
Oh,
Now
let
we've
me
had
tell
a lot of rain up here, but how's it been there?
you, we had some in Georgia too, and we really, really needed it because we're in a drought. And just let me say, if you haven't missed us, you will because we grow on you. How about that?
Yes, we do. For some people, it might take longer than others, but just hang in there. But
Yeah,
you probably grow on Shona before you grow on me, for obvious reasons. But anyway, if you don't, you still have me. You still have me, and I'm here.
that's
You
right.
can't get rid of me.
You ain't going nowhere. Well, let me tell you about my week. I have a new great grandbaby on the way.
Ooh.
Let me tell you what happened. I'm throwing this really big soiree. In the background, you may see stacks of boxes. I do rent a room in Atlanta, and it looks like a storeroom at this point in time because I have so many things preparing for this big shindig that I'm throwing this Saturday. I've intertwined a pre-Thanksgiving celebration, so I will be frying 3 turkeys and baking one and some roast beef, all the trimmings this coming Saturday. We're gonna have big fun. So that
Wow,
had to
I
be
might
the
have to get on that midnight train to
come
Georgia.
on down, come on down. We're gonna have a
Three
lot of
turkeys?
fun. There'll
Wow.
there'll be prizes, man, games. Oh, you name it. Yeah, it's I'm gonna put my stamp on it. You heard me?
Yes. When your legacy is continuing, you just have to celebrate it
Yes, you
because that's what we live for, to continue to breathe life into the world, and hopefully we'll continue the legacy of our families. And so
life
just
should be
do it up
celebrated.
big. Yeah.
Living and definitely welcoming new life into the world. And I feel especially proud because most people never get to meet their great grandparents. And this young lady is my great granddaughter. She is due December 17th. My granddaughter was in the hospital for the last 3 days, and she was just released like 2 hours ago because the baby was trying to show up for the shower. We didn't invite her, so she needs to.
Yes.
She is.
And I told you that happened with my daughter. My granddaughter showed up or came on the day of her baby shower, and
Wow.
I guess she didn't want to be outshined that day. Said, "Mama, I'm coming. I want to be there." So she came, and everybody was there waiting for her. And Zuri came on her mother's baby shower day. So
Wow.
hopefully
So
that
she,
won't happen to you. But if it does, it's still a true blessing.
I'll tell you what, it's going on regardless. I'm too deep into it now. We're
Yeah, too
having
much
a baby
planning.
shower. It's coming Saturday. We are having a baby shower, and
Yeah, gonna
even if she has to watch on Zoom or FaceTime, or if she's here, we can just rope her off in a corner and say, you can look at them from over here. Don't cross this line, but you can stand here and look at the baby. So,
Yes,
but like
indeed.
I said, she's not invited. Hopefully, she won't be at the shower. Um, and I'm hoping she will take all the time that she needs to fully develop. They did give my granddaughter steroids to strengthen her lungs in case she does come early. But she is already head down, ready to dive off the diving board. So
Well,
it's minute by minute,
minute by minute. So we wish
minute
her
by minute.
a true uh, healthy and a healthy delivery and into this world. But and shout out to Balika Sawyer. How you doing? One of our previous guests on here on breast cancer. So she's saying hello, you guys.
Hi,
Hello
Malika.
to you. Thanks for joining us tonight. And we didn't mention, but we didn't have to. Tonight is election night, and here in Virginia, the polls just closed. They closed at 7 p.m. So lately, the results have started to come in quicker than they did years before because of all the electronics and everything. So, while we on, if I get some numbers, letting you know, especially what's happening here in the state of Virginia, and I have another screen. Let me show you what's going on here.
Isn't technology just amazing?
Yeah, right here, showing you. Oops. Okay, we're showing you. The screens I'm looking at here.
Almost.
That's one.
There we go. Oh, look at that.
And where's the other ones? I guess there's another one there, and then there's one up here that's showing all
Uh,
the other races throughout. So if we get any results during our show tonight, I will give you I'll let you know what's going on.
Absolutely.
Especially
Always.
here in Virginia.
Exactly.
It's been kind of crazy. It's been kind of a crazy election. A lot of mudslinging, like you always get, but hopefully we can have a blue wave here in the state of Virginia. I'm unapologetic about that I'm
And pray
a
for it.
Democrat, and we want to see the governor's race back in the Democratic hands. We already have the House and the House of Delegates, so we want everything. So we're gonna see what's going to happen here in Virginia. And I think another two other important places are New York, where the mayor's race is going on, as well as New Jersey, where that's the governor's race. So we're going to see what's going to happen. I heard that Trump really wants New Jersey. Well, he wants all the states, to be red, but he really wants New Jersey. So that's a tighter race than in Virginia. But even if the race is not tight, you just have to wait until the end because you never know what's going on. And I'm seeing some already come in. Like I said, the electronics. Oh, he just took them off. Okay, I was seeing some numbers, but he changed it. Well, I'll just wait until see what happens. So, Shona,
So,
what's happened politically? And this is what I want you to explain because a lot of people think about Atlanta, and that's all they think about. Some people forget about the rest of Georgia, you know, except for some of the other big cities in Georgia. They just think about Atlanta, and of course, Atlanta is a city in itself, and then you have these counties
yeah,
that have elections for mayors and city council and things like that.
yeah.
So, where are you? Well, you don't have to tell exactly where you are, but wherever you are, you have elections. Who's running, and who did you
It
vote for?
is very rural where I live, and Believe it or not, I know you're going to recognize this name because I'm in that county. Okay, you ready for the name?
Hmm.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
You in her district?
Yes.
Did anybody run against her? Because sometimes you get these people that been in like that, and depending on how red or blue the district is, people don't run against them because they're satisfied with what they do. Did she have an opponent?
Well, she wasn't on the ballot this
Oh, she's
time.
not on the ballot. She'll
Basically,
be on the midterm, will she?
yes.
Okay.
We were real local. We had race for the mayoral race in
Okay.
my
Okay.
city.
Like
Um,
New York.
just a few amendments. And here in Georgia, we've also we're voting for the public service commissioner, which is important. And I would just like to emphasize how important it is to have the right people in place on the local level
You're right.
because,
Right.
there are levels. And, when you get high up, they need people to work their agenda uh, below them. So
Right.
we have to have the right people in place in the lower levels in order to get what we want overall at the top. Makes sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It's
It is
so
so
important, and
important to work.
I always talk about how important it is to be involved in your local elections because, well, one thing, whatever your elected officials do, it affects you directly. Sometimes the national decisions take a while to trickle down to you, and some things, affect you directly, like the SNAP benefits. So we can talk about that, but mostly local things. What happens in your community, in your backyard, and some people don't care until it happens in their backyard. But so if you care about what happens in your backyard, you better get out there and vote. And I've been disappointed in my area, in the city of Portsmouth, over the years because we had a very low turnout. We have sometime the lowest I've seen is like 20%, and you know, I would like to see at least 50 or more percent and that's not saying a whole lot. That's saying half the people that are registered come out and vote. Why couldn't it be 80% of the people that are
That's
registered?
right.
What would be the
That's
reason that you would not vote? And
that's
nobody can really
astounding.
give you a sensible answer. You found that to be true?
Yes, that's astounding to me in this
Mhm.
day and time, considering where we are at this point in time as far as the leaders of our country. That's astounding to me that people still do not come out and vote. You can't expect a difference if you don't help facilitate the change.
Yeah, it's amazing, and some excuses are, well, my vote is not going to count, and it's not going to make a difference.
That's
But you
not an
put all those
excuse
votes
because it
together,
doesn't make sense.
yeah, we
It
we
has
had
to
a
make sense to be an excuse.
truly we've had really close races here in Virginia, delegate races where they actually had to flip a coin.
Oh,
It
wow.
was so close. So no race to be that close where you have to flip a coin. Now you talking about
Yes.
flipping a coin makes a difference of who is going to be your elected official or representative, when all
Yes.
you had to do was vote for who you wanted to be your representative, and it just doesn't make sense to me. And it's power in your vote and your voice, but it's even more power in your vote, and a lot of times we don't realize how much power we hold. I mean, look at what the Montgomery boycott did once everybody worked together. I mean, it pretty much almost shut down the bus company. And even more recently, when people came together and said, "Well, I'm not going to Target because they dropped the DEI thing," and so it was a concerted effort for us not to support, especially I'm talking about black people. Our dollars really count in this economy. And we show, how enough of us stayed away from Target to really put a dent in their profits. Well, they had to change their CEO because he was making all this money, but all of a sudden the profit margins dropped. So that showed you how much power you have, and you know,
Exactly. And
and it
there
doesn't cost you nothing to go in there and vote.
exactly. It has been proven time and again how much power there is in unity.
Right.
Why can't we get that?
Yeah, and even if you don't agree with me and who I vote for and you vote another way, okay, that's fine. But at least getting in there and exercising your vote, you're making it more fair, more of a democratic thing. If you
Right.
have, like, Porson, if you got 90 some thousand people here, 97, almost 100,000, we're almost getting it back up to 100,000 because we had lost a lot. And you have like 60 some thousand people registered to vote.
Sorry, I had to go. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I had to go. You lost a lot. I know. I
yeah.
left you. I'm so sorry. But I had to go.
Huh?
I was part of that 100,000 that has
Oh,
been
oh,
moving because
okay.
I left.
Yeah, but that wasn't it, it was most of the people moving to Suffolk
I know.
because we
I was
didn't
being
have enough affordable housing here. But yeah, you're forgiven. You're forgiven. Yeah. But we had 60 some
But
thousand
they have
people
some really
registered to
nice
vote.
housing in Suffolk. I don't
Oh
blame
yeah,
them.
I mean, and a lot of seniors left because we didn't have adequate senior housing. When people that reached seniors and they wanted to downsize, and they were building everything in Suffolk. And a lot of people told me they didn't want to leave Portsmouth, but they didn't need a yard and all that stuff they needed. So I'm looking at some numbers percentages coming in here. Jay Jones right now against Jason Maharis. Jay Jones is 54%. He's leading 54% to his opponent's 46 point. That could change, but Jay Jones is the Democrat, and it almost has some issues. It has some issues. You have to be careful what you put in your messages and what you put out there on Facebook because it will come back. And he had said some things in a message to somebody, and that came out. And they'll find that, especially when you're running for office, and it
Yes.
really came out and really put a dent and sort of made the race closer. But right now, and it's still early, he's leading like he's 54% in, and Spanberger is the Democratic. She's 56% against Earl Sears, 43%. So right
Ooh,
now it's early. That's kind of
that's
close,
great.
but yeah. But
Yeah.
hopefully she'll hold that. And if she, either one of those women win, that'd be history making. Be the first woman governor we'll
Mm.
have.
But
If the
we
Republican wins, she'll be the first. Should be the first African American. But we
wow.
kind of want the Democratic to win. And
Democrats, yeah.
just that quick is flipped on Jones and
Really?
Jason. Jason is up now. So I'm not
Yeah,
going to give you
that's
a play
really
by
good.
play because it's so early. So as we
Yeah,
go
that's true.
along later on,
The numbers are just coming in, actually.
yeah, they're just coming in. So it's just a little early. So, but
So
anyway, yeah, get out there and vote, y'all. Just make sure you exercise your stuff. And
was
I want to go ahead, go ahead.
that you I saw in a picture with Rowan Martin yesterday, I want to say?
Oh yeah, yeah. I had the pleasure, Roland Martin, and I'm here for the people that watching that live in Georgia and don't know a lot about this part of Virginia. We have a 7 city area that's called Hampton Roads. So Roland Martin came down to one of the cities, which is Chesapeake. I'm from Portsmouth, and it's a adjacent city, and he came down here to do his show live. He did his show, a live show on his network with Senator Louise Lucas, who was a long time politician here in the state of Virginia, very powerful,
Mhm.
and some other candidates that's running for delegate and had an opportunity. And I've been watching him for uh, as long as he's been on the scene as far as uh, on the media, social media, and he
Yeah.
has his own network now. So
Mhm.
he's been like a hero of mine, for what he's done in the media. So I think he's one of the few people that owns black owned network where he can do what he wants to do. So I had the chance to meet him and take a selfie with him. And
That had to be
I think I'm gonna
really.
get that picture framed.
You should,
You
especially
know how you
since
meet somebody that you have so much respect for,
yes.
and it's just an opportunity. And I didn't know until a few days before he was coming that he was coming. I got an email inviting me to it, and I
Okay.
said, "Wow." And I had to make some changes in something I was going to do. I said,
Our
"Okay, I'm."
resident celebrity, y'all. Hey, our
Well, he was
resident
the celebrity.
celebrity.
I just had the opportunity to meet him, and
But you're rubbing
really down to
elbows.
earth guy.
That means a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. And if you get a chance, y'all check out Roland Martin. The information. If you're into politics, the information he shares nationally and locally, and he might come to a town near you or to your town if it's newsworthy. But
Yes,
anyway,
absolutely.
that was a great opportunity, and I'm glad I had that. Yeah, he probably doesn't know me now, but that's okay.
James, I
But
really
look,
think you should run for office.
no, no, I had the opportunity years ago. I thought about it really seriously, but I always been one of those people that will work for candidates, and then I was civic league president for many years, and when you have those positions, sometimes you can uh, almost do a lot more. You can say things that you want to say, and then sometimes you can be kind of restricted in elective office. Not taking anything from that because you do have the power to make policy and do things like that. But some people are more suited for other things. And I thought about it because it came up several times, and I think I would have been kind of stifled. I don't think that would have been me. I think I worked better on those commissions I worked on and working for candidates, trying to help candidates get elected. I think that was a better choice for me. I might have gotten up there and frozen or made a vote and people didn't like me and I've been upset. Oh, you don't like me no more? You know, my feelings would have got hurt. No, I have a thicker skin than that. I think I would have done all right, but I probably would have done one, and everybody says this, one or two terms and let it go. But a lot of people say that, but sometimes once you get that kind of powerful, when you walk in a room and they call you to the front to sit and that attention you get, it's kind of hard to give that up, wouldn't you
Do you
think?
think that's what's happening with Donald Trump?
Oh yeah, that's definitely what's happening to him. But he's taking his to the extreme. He wants to be. That's why he has all these people sitting around and giving him. Oh yeah, Mr. President, you're so great. You've done so many things, and look at the things you've been doing since you've been in office. And he got the lowest ratings that he ever had of any president. But he's been doing such a great job, and you can't tell him that. He says everything is fine. The prices are down, and what's going on with these people with SNAP, just to hold out and blame Democrats for it. And you and the Republicans have the power to make that
That's
difference.
so
And the
sad.
only reason the Democrats are holding out because if they let you have what you want, then that's going to mess up health care for people. So even though the Democrats are looking for other ways to help feed people, they cannot. They got to hold the line on that because they know what you're trying to do. You really want to SNAP to go away, you know, because you feel like people, you heard it say, well, why don't you get out and get a job? Most people on SNAP are working,
You know what's
and
interesting?
a lot of them are white,
That's right. That's the point I was about to make. That's
white and working.
very
So
much at the
these are
forefront
not
right
lazy people.
now. Most people think that it's mostly people of color who receive SNAP benefits, but that is not the case at all.
Yeah.
Um, it is mostly Caucasian, and that's been in the news and in print online a lot lately. I have noticed. Um, at any rate, there are people who need it. They bottom line, they are people who need it. It doesn't matter what color they are, and you
And
cannot starve people um,
for
for
political
political
reasons.
reasons.
Yeah.
That's just so
And
wrong.
and it's really just a supplement, Shona. I mean, it's not something that you can. And then there are so many restrictions you can't. They say somebody said, okay, that we don't want you to get snapped so you can get your nails done. You can't get your nails done with your snap
No,
card. It's just for certain kinds of food, and that's the kind of stuff that they spread about
yeah,
people that get those benefits, because they might see them with lashes or nails and things like that. But that's one of the things that they work for. You might not like the look or everything, but to them, they work hard, and that's something they want to do. But it's not because of SNAP benefits that they get that they go out and do those things. And I think some of the people that believe that are just so brainwashed
they're
that they're
probably
going to
the
believe.
ones who are not voting.
Right, and they're probably the ones that. But we have so many that we need to get out there to vote that are not voting. And
Absolutely,
you know,
absolutely.
if you want to hold a argument with me or debate with me, and before we get started, you tell me you don't vote. There's no need me arguing or having a debate with you if you don't vote. Okay, well, that cuts off the conversation. But
Okay.
when you have something like that, ask the person first before you get into it. Well, did
Do
you
you
vote
vote?
or have you voted? And if they say no, I don't see the need to vote, but
This
they got a strong
conversation is
opinion.
over.
Well,
This
conversation is
conversation
over.
is over.
Next. Don't have anything to say you. And
That's right. Um, I have to say I'm happy to see some audience participation. I've never been able to see comments before. So
yeah, well, yeah. You can see them up on the screen now because
yeah,
I used to have to punch them in, and I found out I couldn't keep up. But I found out there was another way. Every month, they tell you about a different something they've added to the platform,
okay,
the
okay.
StreamYard. So they gave the opportunity, so it flashes up there on the screen whenever people make a comment. So I won't miss certain comments.
I like that. I like
And
that.
I can see, and everybody that's on the feed like yourself can see it as well. And if you want to address anything that pops up there, you can. But it's
You're,
good to see that the
you're
people are,
becoming quite
and we
the
want them to
tech
be
guy.
engaged. We want them to be engaged with us, even if they
Absolutely.
don't agree.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because we need perspective.
Yes,
We need
indeed.
to talk about it.
I, I'm going to go away from this for 1 minute because I always wanted to bring this up. I want to, you know, about getting old, and I'm not going to take up much time. The word old, it can
Who's
be
getting old?
subjective. It can.
Who's getting
That's why I use older, because all of us are
if you're
older.
lucky?
We
If
are
you're lucky.
older than we were yesterday.
That's
Old
right.
is subjective. If you are a teenager, 25 to 30 might be old to you. If
And it
you
was.
in your
You know it
20s, it
was.
was. And if you're in your 20s, 40 to 50 might be old to you. So that's why I say it's subjective. So I always use the word older, because we all, from birth, we all get older, but
I
we all don't
agree.
necessarily get old, because the connotations that come with being old, somebody say you're old, somebody, you can move. Okay, we in our 70s, we can move better than somebody that might be 50,
That is so true.
because, and it might not be because of medical reasons, because that person, is just lazy, or,
Yes.
doesn't. doesn't move around as much. So I just want to throw that in. And for people out there, stop calling people old, because one thing most people are not ready to accept that, being called old, you know, uh, just like when were you, like, when did you accept people calling you ma'am? Yes, ma'am. Or instead of calling
That
you
rarely
Shona,
happens
somebody,
too.
people you work with, people you work with, instead of calling you Shona, they call you Miss Shona or Miss, you know, your last name, Miss Swinson,
You
because
know, it's funny because I have heard people call other people Miss so and so, Miss so and so. Well, Miss Regina did this. I went and took it to Miss so and so, but they
mhm.
call me Shona, and I'm older than Miss so and so. I
Well,
think
I
it's
mean,
a state of mind. It's
yeah,
just
it's a state of mind, and it's
it
different for
is.
certain people.
It is.
I remember being, but some people, it's like a rude awakening when you're getting older and you don't think about it. You might be in a situation where you're around a lot of fellow employees, and some of the younger people start calling you, putting the miss in front of Shona, and some people are not ready for that. And I remember telling people I was working with, say, well, you can call me James. I said, I'll say Mr. James because of their upbringing.
I
They
love it.
they couldn't bring themselves to call somebody older than them by their
Yeah,
first name.
I
And
love it.
and I said, you know what? I have to respect that, and I have to accept the fact that that's the way you see me now, even though I wasn't ready for that. I thought I was still one of the.
You have mixed feelings about it.
Yeah, yeah.
I
That's when
love
you start realizing
show of
you're
respect.
older now, and then you have to take it in and say, okay, that's a sign of respect. That's not a
Exactly.
disrespectful. That's
And
not calling you old.
it's
That's
so
just saying,
rare in this day and time because
yeah,
young people, they're not taught that sort of thing
right. Can you
nowadays.
imagine when you were younger calling one of your mother's friends by their first name? Oh, hi, Sarah.
Uh,
You know,
hmm.
that's Miss
No.
Jones to you.
Exactly. Exactly. But nowadays, they don't really care. They don't care to even make a distinction.
Well,
Now,
it's a lot out there
they
that
feel like
still have
you're
that
their
upgrowing.
peer.
Yeah.
Uh, and
But I brought that up and just to say, let people know, don't be so taken aback by, you getting older. Be blessed that you're still here for one thing, and be blessed that
exactly.
you you are here in order to give back some of that wisdom you learned, some of those
Exactly.
lessons, hard lessons you learned that
Yeah.
somebody else might not make that same mistake, or when they make that mistake, they say, "Oh, Miss Shona told me that, and I won't make that mistake again." So, you know, being older. So don't take I still don't like the old thing, but don't take getting older as a sign of, well, I'm useless now. You're still relevant. Probably more so than you were when you were in your 20s, even though you thought you were something else in your 20s. But you're worth more now than you were then. In most cases, not in all
That
cases.
is correct. I see you have a fan, James. George Harvey or Harvey George? Which is it?
Oh yeah, yeah, George Harvey. Yeah, he was at Union with me. One of my college mates there.
He
Uh,
says he follows you quite often.
yeah, from New York. We reconnected by this. We both remembered being on the campus, and I think it might have been about 40 years in between the time before we kind of reconnected here
That's a
on
long
social
time.
media, and we've been sort of making that connection ever since. But it's just like the high school days. You never forget those college days that a lot of growing up went on doing that. A lot of life lessons and outside of the classrooms, and you just meet him. And he was from New York, I believe, and I remember him training in karate. So all those guys that knew karate, you want them to be your friend. Not only for that, but
I
But
think
thanks, George. I appreciate you, brother.
some people think social media is the devil. Um, I think it's a blessing if it's used in the right way. I often think what it would be like for me had social media not come about, because we wouldn't
Mm.
even be sitting here talking to each other. We would never, more than likely, have even reconnected.
No, except for maybe coming back for the homecomings or something like that.
Again,
Be-
we probably would never have reconnected.
because
I came to one class reunion, and that
yeah,
was
and that
about,
the 45th, our 45th,
yeah, maybe
and
7 years ago, something like
yeah,
that.
and we did that because we didn't want to wait to our 50s and 50th and lose of people that we were asking about. And I think, how did you find out about that? Was that through social media or?
Social
Uh,
media.
yeah,
That's the point I'm making.
I think maybe a few people that probably lived in your area or some people you might have been in communication with probably
That
saw it on there.
that I connected with on social media.
Right. Yeah. Well, then you're exactly right because we didn't have everybody's address or email,
Exactly.
and a lot of people that came from out of town. You're right. Learned through social media, and we had quite a few people to come in from out of town. We had looked at that video the other day, the one
Really.
with the one we did at the I can't even think of it. Roger Brown's
Yes, and
and
I
and the after
hand
dance.
I hand danced with my cousin Randy
Yeah,
on
yeah,
one of the
Randy Law.
phones. And I remember my sister-in-law, God rest her soul, she put on social media a couple days later, because I did post the video. She's the one who took the video, as a matter of fact, of us hand dancing. And that was the first time, first of all, that I had hand danced in decades. And I had
Hmm.
never danced with him, because people don't hand dance anymore. And she said on social media, you know, y'all practice that.
Those hand dances, because you hadn't seen Randy, have you, before then? And the
I
reason
didn't know
Randy
he was
was
even
there,
coming to I didn't even know he was coming to the event. He
yeah,
came and asked me, can I
Randy
hand
was
dance?
there. Randy was there because he graduated from Wilson,
That's right.
and we also invited some people that were at Wilson that graduated in '72 because we all knew each other from the different schools, and
Yes.
Randy was one of the few that showed up, that wasn't from the Norcom, but he came out that year from a rival school, but we all knew him coming up, and I forgot he was your cousin, but anyway, and Harvey George said he lives now in Dallas, Georgia.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and
Everybody comes to
because
Georgia, huh?
I saw Dallas, and I wanted to see Texas behind it, but he said Dallas, Georgia.
Yes,
Yeah,
there is a Dallas, Georgia.
where
And you
is
know
that?
what?
Is that deep in?
You're going to have to ask him. I have heard of it. And I was going to say, one of the interesting things about Georgia is the way that they pronounce things, because there's a Houston, Georgia, which is like Houston, Texas. There's
Yeah,
a house, they call it Houston.
let's say Houston.
Yes.
That that sounds like how people in Texas should pronounce it, the way they talk, Houston, but they say Houston. But yeah, and that just goes to say, people don't even. I'm one of them. I just think of Atlanta and maybe Savannah. Uh, and what are some of the other big areas in Georgia? But most people that from here live in those little counties surrounding Atlanta or
Well, you know, you have that Savannah area. Southern University is in Statesboro, Georgia, which is that's near where I live. I live in, like I said, Swainsboro, Georgia. Um, and the way that I was introduced to the area is that my older brother lives in Twin City, Georgia. When I tell you straight country, it is straight country. He had to have, I think he had um, uh, the lights on the pole that you see
Mm.
along the street that you used to see along the streets, the big telegram pole in his front yard. He has 10 acres there, and when he moved there, he had to have one installed. When I tell you to drive down that, I'm going to call it a road. When you drive down there at night, pitch dark. I'm talking pitch dark. So a lot of
That
people
sounds like
where,
that sounds like where my grandmama lived out in Churchland when Churchland was pretty rural because if you rode across the bridge, you had to ride past all the white communities and
yes,
keep going. And then you got back there to Twin Pines and those black communities, and they were like country, and it'd be pitch dark out there. I would have to stay there on weekends when my parents went away, and
uh-huh.
you couldn't. I mean, she had still had an outhouse, and you couldn't see. Once the sun went down, it was just all you could hear was crickets and frogs, and this
But
wasn't North Carolina. This was outside of Churchland. It was Churchland. It
yes,
was
and
Norfolk
this
County
was
then.
back in the day. So fast forward, so we're talking 50, 60, 60 years ago.
Hmm.
So I had been in Atlanta for so long that I guess it just never dawned on me that there were still places that hadn't caught up to, I don't know, the 2000s really. So when I moved to where I live now, I just never even thought about it, that to look to see if there was public transportation. I just assumed it was a given because it's always been available all of my life wherever I went. But there's no bus system, no taxi cab, no Uber, no Lyft. As a matter of fact, when I first moved there a couple of
You
years
better have
ago,
a car or a horse or something.
you absolutely do. You could not even have your groceries delivered from Walmart until about maybe a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I see one of my friends on here. It says Louis Bracy is asking how's the turnout here, and he also said greetings to you, Miss Swinson. Louis Bracy, he graduated with us in '72 as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and he has this name. His social media name is Key Westlaw
I see.
SimLab. Yeah.
Interesting. So
So
I have to
Louis,
think
I
about
didn't I
that's
didn't
Louis
do
Braille.
like I. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I just have to stick that in my mind that that's Louis Bracy.
Yeah. So
That's
anytime,
quite a
yeah,
name. We'll have to
yeah,
see what what brought that about.
yeah.
How he came
And
up with
Louis, he's been on the show several times. The next time he comes, I ask him where he got that name from. He might
yeah.
be
I'm
able to
sure it's
explain it now. Uh, but anyway, Lewis, I didn't get out and go ride around like I usually do. I usually go out and ride around the different precincts with my camera and interview people and ask for and see how the voting was. So I didn't do that today, but I'm looking at the numbers, and it's only 5 precincts in, and so far Stephanie Morales is leading. Nathan Chapman is in second place, and Steve Heretic, but we're talking 5 out of 31 precincts. So all
Mhm.
this could change very quickly. We just
Okay.
talking about
Several times.
1,400 votes. And Michael Moore in the sheriff race is leading um, with 64% over James Cullen. But again, it's just 5 precincts in so far out of 31. So it could remain the same or it could go up and down because what people
Several
look for in
times.
Portsmouth is several large precincts that usually take till the end to come out because they're so large, and a lot of times they are the determining factors of someone's going to win or not, especially if it's a close race. So we'll see what's going on. We probably will be off air before. Uh, I know we are before the total results come in, but so far Jay Jones is still leading, but again, just 5 precincts, and these are the Portsmouth numbers here, not statewide.
So where I am, we have a new voting system. We've actually
Hmm.
relocated um, where we vote, the city hall, all of that, into a new building. So I voted early. I went a week ago Saturday
So
um,
did I. Yeah.
and voted. So the poll worker there, she was just so proud of this new system, telling me where to go and what the process was. We'll bring this over here. And she took me to, it looked like a big trash can, really, where you put your your paper vote in after it's printed out after you make the vote. And she
Hmm.
said, "See, look at this right here. You are voter number 465." I was like, "Oh, wow, that's really
Wow.
neat." So
Do, do,
uh,
do you know what the total
I do not.
amount of people in your precinct is?
I do not. I
Mm.
can only tell you that I do know the city as a whole. There are less than 8,000 people.
And that's something I used to do right after each election is go back over the precincts in Portsmouth and
Mhm.
see how people voted. And well, I look at the percentage for one thing, and then I look at, and a lot of candidates do that because the next time you run, you want to know how that precinct performed and how they voted. Did they vote? And even though locally you don't have to declare Republican or Democrat, but most people know who these who those candidates lean towards. You know,
Mm,
at one time nobody knew. You didn't know if you were voting for Republican, but now most of them will come out and say who they are,
absolutely.
even though it's supposed to be a nonpartisan local election. But we pretty much know. So I expect I'll be doing that same thing after this election
Yeah.
is
So
looking at all those numbers in case
because
someone wants to know.
it's
Then
interesting.
I'll do a show on it and talk about
Okay.
how we voted and who needs to step it up and things
Exactly.
like that.
Let's
That's
get it
always fun.
together, people. Let's get
Yeah,
it
let's get it
together.
together and get out there. Get on
Yes.
up, as Saint James Brown would say.
Yes. Get on up.
Pass the peas, like they used to say.
How did we get to the piece?
Well, that was one of those songs we used to sing back
I know.
back during high school days. Pass the
Like they
peas.
used to do.
Yeah. All those songs. How many dances did you? You seem like you said one time you were kind of a homebody, but
Yeah.
house dances. Somebody. If you had a party, you knew the person. It might be somebody in the neighborhood that had a party, and of course,
Yes.
it always be somebody that might want to crash it. But for the most part, the house parties and things. Did you go to those? The people you know.
Yes.
Okay, so what kind of dances? Because a lot of times, if they were in a house, the parents were still there, and when those slow records came on,
Well, I had, by the time I was old enough to do those things, I had a boyfriend. It was always just one specific person.
okay, so each slow dance was with him. It wasn't, you
If
know.
if I have a significant other, I don't slow dance with other people. I
I
never
knew
have.
people that used to do that. And, you come there with somebody and you go slow dance with somebody else. That didn't never made sense to me. I could see a dance, where it was space in
Pass,
between it.
yeah.
But you know how those slow dances were. I don't even think they slow dance like that anymore. But I mean, it was like,
They
and
don't even.
it wasn't a slow dance; it was a slow grind.
That's what
To
they
be
called
really
it.
honest with you,
That's what they called it. And that's what it was. But nowadays it's interesting to me that young people, they don't really dance together anymore. And when they do, they're usually bent over. If they make contact, they're backing it up to the ladies backing it up to the
Yeah,
man.
they say, "Oh, what's that?"
No, not now. I will tell you that I'm I'm very old school. I do realize that. So that's one of the reasons I don't like going to clubs anymore, other than I guess that I'm older.
Yeah,
But it doesn't make sense to me. Nowadays, a group of women get in the floor and dance with each other. I, I can't do that. I'm used to partnering with a guy to dance. I'm not
yeah.
going to just get up in the floor with a group of ladies. That just feels desperate to me
Well,
because you don't have anybody to dance with.
I, I'll tell you, the dancing, slow dancing for me was like not the best times because when you're taller, and it might be different now because girls are taller now, but most of the girls were, you know, and then I kept growing. At one point it was okay. We met where we needed to meet. But after a while, next thing I know, I'm six something, and then I'm 6'1",
Now
and by
that's
the
an
time I'm a
interesting
senior,
dilemma.
yeah, by the time I'm a senior, I'm like 6'4", and I grew an inch after that. But I'm talking about in height. But after that, and then you go to ask somebody to dance, and they wait. I mean, it didn't work out. And very seldom after that
I could
I
imagine.
slow danced, and if somebody was tall enough to dance with, it wasn't somebody you wanted to dance with. They It was a girl, but her voice might have been deeper than yours, but now it's different because the girls are really. I mean, it's girls out there 6'5" and 6'7", and
Mm.
I probably would have a field day today if the girls were like that at that point. But yeah, that's my thing. And as a matter of fact, Louis Bracy explained where he got the name from. He went to Key West and he loved Key West so much, he just combined Key West Law Simp Lab. I didn't see the whole story. I think it's
Was
you
added
see it.
to
You see it
separate
up there on the
from
screen.
another Key West law.
Uh huh.
Oh, I love that. Key West. Okay. I love that. And he also said you can't do house parties anymore. And Stay in My Corner was the slow jam.
Yeah, that
Yes,
was
it
the
was.
yes, especially
I
that
mean,
long note. That
longest
long note.
ever.
If you
Yeah.
by, by the time he hit that long note, you in love.
You were in
Yeah,
trouble.
when that song came over, you. But the worst thing anybody could do, you're in the house and that song comes on and you on one side of the room and the girl's on the other side. You get up and go through everybody and get to the other side, ask her to dance, and she say no, and you got to walk back.
Was that the walk of
You
shame?
got to either you got to find somebody to dance with. It's no, but
Oh,
a lot of times that was the last girl sitting, and you went over there and she said no, and some guys, could they just moved on to the next, but some guys were crushed.
that's why I didn't have that problem. I be with my man.
Yeah, 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 and everybody knew it. No, no, no use
I
asking
didn't have
her.
to hurt nobody's
Yeah,
feelings.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, no, I'm with him. I'm with him. Yeah,
I mean, everybody would know. I wouldn't even have
yeah,
to say it.
yeah. But those were
Because,
the days.
yes, everybody knew everybody anyway. So, you know, you
Yeah,
knew.
I can't even imagine having and you talk about house parties and you can't have them anymore because something could happen. But it used to be a point even after high school where you would run into somebody at a football game or something. I'm talking about you college age, even if you were in college or not, you go in a Norfolk State game or something like that. And after the game, and you walk up and say, where the party at? And they could tell you what I know where a house party at. You didn't
Yeah,
even know the people,
you
and
can't do that.
you would go to that house party. Can you imagine doing something like that now, going somewhere like that because
You,
you
you
walk
may
in
not
there and
make
they
it
didn't.
home.
Yeah, you might not make it home. And I can remember being over in Norfolk and going. I didn't feel comfortable, but going, because somebody at Norfolk State knew somebody lived in Norfolk. They said,
Yeah.
"Okay, I know where a house party is. It's over here in Norfolk." Then you ride up in Norfolk and you walk in there and all these Norfolk guys in there, and you from Portsmouth, and you knew sooner or later
Yeah.
that wasn't going to mix.
I agree with Key West Law Simlab.
Yeah,
He says real parties stopped after 85.
yeah,
Rap, hip hop sucks in comparison. I totally agree. They don't dance today. They stay on their cell phones. I mean, just why even go?
yeah. At a party,
How
you
is
on the
that
cell
even
phone.
socializing? How is that socializing if you're
Yeah.
on the phone with somebody in a room full of people?
But even we talked about the slow dance, but that wasn't the main thing of parties. It was the whatever the latest dance was out. That was
Yeah,
fun. Yeah, I remember the penguin was out. I said
yes.
that's a crazy dance, but everybody was doing
Everybody
the
knew it, but
penguin
you had your own. You put
or
your
the
own spin
turtle
on it. Okay,
or
okay,
or or the classic, which still lasts today, hand dancing, which I never really perfected. But hand dancing is something that I used to see people doing when I was a kid, and people still doing it now. That's something that just stood the test of time. But those other dances, you just had to keep up with
that's
what was
very
in
old
and what
school.
was out.
So
Yeah, and
young
now the
people,
line dancing is
that's
where you don't even have to
extremely
have a
popular
partner.
now.
Just get
That's
up there
why
on the
it's
floor.
extremely important. That's why it's extremely popular now because you don't
Yeah,
have to have a partner.
you don't have to
Um,
have a partner. 50 ladies can go to a
it's
party together and line
more than
dance.
likely it's going to be 50 ladies and two men. Just saying on the line dancing.
Yeah.
Because well, I know in Georgia there definitely is a very unbalanced ratio of men to women. Um,
Oh, is it? I might have to come to Georgia. I remember Virginia State used to, when I was at Union, and Harvey George can attest to this. We would, it was about 90, down 95 to get from Union in Richmond to Virginia State. And we
okay.
used to go down there a lot on weekends because the ratio of the girls was like 12 to 1.
Wow.
12 to 1.
It
And
seems
somebody
it,
told me it's
it
still
seems
that
like
way.
it's
It's
about
still
that
like
now
that
in
because
Georgia.
it's more women in higher education than men. And black women are the most educated uh, amongst women and men
Mm,
in the United States, the most
yes,
educated. But
yes.
anyway, it was 12 to 1. So to go down to Virginia State, I mean, you know, was the thing to do for us. And these college days now, these high hormone days, okay,
That's very
it's
different.
very different from now. So, but it's good to talk about
So now for
memories.
being a woman of a certain age and single, it's just not exciting for me to go out to in that kind of environment because more than likely anyone who's not paired off is going to be a woman.
Well, let me ask you this. You said the woman of a certain age and single. What would be an ideal date for you? And I'm sure it's a lot different than it may have been years ago. What you expect because you're on kind of a different level now, and
Absolutely.
but it still would be nice to have a nice date with someone. Even
Absolutely.
though the way back then it was all for at least for men there was a alternative motive. If I take you out to dinner, but
Make no
not every
assumptions.
man, but if not tonight, but maybe down the road. But now, it's a lot different because it's more about companionship and then just enjoying the conversation and everything. So, how's
Exactly.
that for you? What would you? Maybe I just said it, huh? Maybe I just said.
Pretty
As,
much. I mean, going to dinner someplace that doesn't have a lot of noise where you can actually get to know one another. Also, maybe partaking of some enjoyable music like jazz.
hmm
You know, after the dinner, but you definitely need to be in a semi-quiet space where you can enjoy some dialect from one another to get to know one another, because that's the only way that you will pick and make no assumptions.
Yeah, and you want to be with someone you had something in common with.
Absolutely, and that's why
Back in the
we
day
try to
when you were young, it didn't matter if you had anything in common.
it
You know,
exactly. And in
yeah,
this
it
day
was.
of time, it's so different because like when I lived in Portsmouth, everybody knew everybody. You have a
Yeah,
frame of reference. It's very difficult to date someone and you have absolutely no frame of reference. They could be Jack the Ripper. You just have no way of knowing.
yeah, and there were some cases where that turned out to be the case. The person just wasn't. You know, they were just very polished in the way they.
A good actor.
Yeah, yeah, the way they approach things, and I
I
was just
mean,
looking at looks like 14 precincts are in, and
okay,
in the city of Portsmouth, Sheriff Moore is still leading. He has 7,792 votes to James Cullen, 3,661 votes. And, I voted for Sheriff Moore. I voted early. And James Cullen is a friend. I like him, but, uh, after the election, we'll still be friends. It's not something that, he knows how I voted. And, it's not something where because I didn't vote for him or didn't support him that that we will never speak again. you know,
it's not a popularity contest.
right, right. It's not a popularity. I just
It's
felt,
about the issues and the work involved.
yeah, Michael Moore has been there, and unless it was nothing for me to look at as far as he's done something wrong or he hadn't been doing his job. He's gone well beyond well liked. But anyway, but you know, some people are always looking for a change, so that's okay. That's your choice. And Stephanie Morales is still leaving with 16 uh, votes. And like I said, Shona, there's still with the 31 precincts, and it's those ones at the end.
The night
The
is
big,
young.
you're talking about Cavalier Manor has about three precincts out there that really they vote heavy out there,
Okay.
and you wait for those, and then there's some areas in Churchland that you
Okay.
wait for that come in the end that sometimes change. It's been people that thought they won
Wow.
because it might have been three precincts left and they were ahead,
It it ain't over till it's
comfortably,
over.
comfortably, and then
That's how the
those
saying
numbers
goes.
came in from Cavalier Manor
It
and
is not
it,
over till the last
it
vote is
changed the
counted.
whole. That's why tell you black folks can be powerful because the Cavalier Manor has been an area that has made and broke candidates. If that's why so many of them spend so much time out there if they want to really be elected because it's been a real stronghold over the years because it's such a big community, and if you can convince that community and that community kind of sticks together in the way they vote in for the most part.
Hmm.
So
That was the last place I actually lived in Portsmouth. It was. Do
mm,
you remember Bonnevilla?
yeah, yeah, I remember.
Yes, that was the
I
last
remember
city
when it
I
was
lived
built. I
in.
had cousins that stayed out there. I used to go out there and spend the night with them, and
Oh
you know,
wow!
when my parents were out of town. So yeah,
It
Bonneville,
is a
Villa,
small
yeah,
city.
yeah.
That was
That
eons
it's
ago.
all torn down now, right?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
don't even know what's over there now.
Well,
Uh,
it's a vacant lot right now. Many
really?
people have come in to try to develop it, and it's a development pending right now for it. But it's been vacant for years now.
Wow.
Uh,
Well,
Let's see. Glad I was checking my message. I'll watch the whole show later. Okay, thanks, Lewis
Lewis, yeah.
and Harvey. Harvey agreed with me. I used to go to Virginia State for the football games because I had friends from home there. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a little different why I went, Harvey, but I believe you went for the same reason I went. You just don't want to say. Just joking, Harvey. All right. But
Okay,
anyway, we
so I do want to mention that I am rocking my purple today for domestic violence awareness, and I do know we will be getting shortly to James Overton's story um, uh, of his heart transplant.
heart
What do you think?
transplant and adoption. And as a matter of fact,
Yes, we're
the
getting
lady
there.
I talked to you about that was at union with me that was half Korean and half black. Uh, is has now has just maybe a few weeks ago landed in Korea. She visited there before to find her adopted parents, and she never did find her mother. I think she found out her mother had passed, but I think she met some relatives and found
Mhm.
out her dad was a, a a black man that was stationed there. You know,
Wow.
and she was orphaned. You know, after that because back then you were mixed in Korea and China and places like that, you were like cast aside. And it was a lot of mix because there was a lot of soldiers over there as far as Vietnam and Korea.
Yes.
So one of her goals was to go back and spend a lot more time there. Discovering her roots. So she's there now, and
Wow.
I communicated with her, and hopefully we can get her on from Korea. We just have to figure out. It's like a 16-hour difference in time. We have to figure that out. But she's been on before twice, but I surely would like to get her on from Korea to talk about her experience and trying to find her roots there. She might
We
end
can
up
do it. We're claiming that. Sister,
reclaiming that. Yeah,
we're claiming that.
reclaiming it. And I'll
Yes.
tell you another time about her daughter that's a premier actor in Hollywood. I'll tell
Okay.
you about that.
Wow.
Anyway,
I can't
we are,
wait. That's excited. An hour goes by so fast.
yeah, but if you have something else to say, go ahead and say it. Have a few more, but you kind of told me about. Well, I kind of told you about your perfect date, but I mean, is it? Would you rather go out with the girls, or would you rather have a nice
No,
date? And sometimes dating now at this point of our lives, it's more like I said earlier, companionship. You're not really looking for somebody. It could happen. Looking for
right.
a life partner. It could happen. But now it's just something to let me
Just
go out with
socialize,
this
basically.
socializing. Yeah, that's the exact
Yeah.
word, socializing. And if it
It's
turns into
it's
something, it
tough.
does. If not,
It's tough.
because well, and at this time it's kind of tough too, even if you meet somebody, because both of y'all pretty set in your ways, and you think
It's tough.
you know
That's one of
you
the
have your
reasons
own
why
stuff. You
it's
have your own
tough.
stuff.
From my perspective, most men have been married, if not once, several times.
Hmm.
So they're gun shy about being married again. They've probably verbally stated, "I'm never going to get married again."
Yeah,
You know,
but
um,
but they still want companionship.
exactly. And more than likely, they have children. They've
Hmm.
already mapped out. They've divided everything up in their
Hmm.
will, and so you're not going to be. a favorite with their children because now you're coming in and getting a piece of their pie that they've been
piece of the pie.
promised. So it's tough.
Well,
It's
I've seen people come together, and they really are a couple, but they live separately, because they already have everything
exactly
that they have,
exactly.
and either one person has to give up certain things, and plus a lot of times it makes for a better relationship because they're not at in each other's face all the time, and they've already established a lot of habits that you're not going to come in here and put the glass here when I always had the glass here, even something as simple as that,
Yeah.
and those things happen. So those people that decide to live apart, that's it usually works out better for both of them, for both
Well,
for both
it takes the
parties.
right two people. I will say
Yeah,
that
yeah,
it wouldn't be for me because I would like to live with someone and grow old with them because
yeah.
I'm not old yet. Okay.
But I said all that to say it's not over. I mean, I've seen people come together much later in life, finding
Mhm.
their soulmate, and they have that honest conversation in the beginning. Don't go in there expecting a whole lot, from somebody that's been around, or try to shoot that game on somebody that's heard it all. You know,
Well, I
Ain't
don't.
nothing worse than an old player or older player.
That's just that's just ugly. they,
Yeah, it's real ugly.
they look really silly. Okay.
Or older gold digger.
Okay, that too. It's it just takes the right two people,
Takes the
and
right to people.
you know, I've often thought that my the thing that I'm most proud of, despite all of the things that I've been through in my adult life, is my ability to love. That's what I'm most proud of.
And
I can
that's
still
why
look forward to it and
and
open my.
and and then that's why so many people had a hard time believing what you went through during that time. But uh it didn't damper that ability you
I
still
can
had. You just had
tell
to
some stories that would make your hair curl.
yeah. And which probably made you doubt, hey, do I need to be loving? Do I need to be this loving and get treated like this? But some things that are in your nature is going to be there. You just have to weather the storm. If you weather the storm,
I
and
think
come out on the other side,
prime example of what you just stated.
yeah, and you just be more comfortable with yourself, knowing that this is who I am. And if you be anything other than who you are, you might not appreciate yourself.
Right.
But certain things happen in our life that sort of make us question. You
Well,
know,
I
I've
just
always been a trusting guy, and felt like anybody I meet is a friend, or if they said they were a friend, they really were a friend. But you find out that that's not always the case. But and it's some hard lessons in the beginning, but after a while, you just say, okay, well, I'll just move on. You
I feel that I'm a queen at being able to rise from the ashes, step over the pile of whatever it is,
hmm
and move forward and look forward and not look back.
Yeah, and Shona, that's what life is all about: being able to move forward, and not give up. Uh, the resilience of Black people in general uh, is a story within itself.
Yes, it is.
And not everybody makes it through it, but in general, what Black people had to endure over the years, it's just in our DNA to really uh, survive some of the roughest times in our life. It's
That's
harder for
true.
some people, and some people need help to get through it, like counseling and things like that. But
That's
for the
true.
most part, some people, just it's tough. It can be tough. It can be tough, and sometimes you want to give up.
You can't get stuck.
But then you got to think about it's other people that depend on you too. Maybe
Yes.
not financially, but they depend on your existence. Your family, your sons, your daughters, and
Yes.
cousins, and even your friends.
That's true.
So sometimes you have to be fair to
And they
yourself. So
might
I
not
hope,
even know it.
yeah, they and might not know it, and I guess that's what where counseling comes in for certain people that might want to end it all, or
Mm,
just go into a shell. And you got all these people. You don't be so selfish. Think about all these people that depend on your existence before you think about you don't want to be here anymore, or you are worthless. It's always people out there for somebody. So anyway,
yes.
we didn't want to end that way. I think we started out on a high note, so let's end on a high note. So we're gonna see what's
Absolutely.
yeah, we're gonna see what's gonna happen all over these different states, and look like in New Jersey right now, the Democrat is really leading, and they're not showing how many precincts there. But before we go, how many precincts? It's like 23 precincts in Virginia out of the 31, and so far statewide, all the Democrats are still leading. Spanberger is killing Winston Sears right now. She has like 74% of the vote compared to 24 for Sears. So I think
Virginia
everybody kind
is
of,
one of the places that all eyes are upon today.
yeah, yeah. And I
Mhm.
think that was kind of predicted, but you never know. And Jay Jones with 24 out of the 31 precincts is still leading. He's breaking away, but that could change. And let's see what's going on locally. Commonwealth Attorney, 24 out of 31. She's still leading in a big way so far. But remember what I told you about those late precincts that come in
Mhm.
could be a game changer, of course. And Michael Moore is leading, and all the other delegates around. Or officers in Portsmouth. Nobody opposed them. It'd be a shame to be unopposed and lose. Wouldn't that be a crazy thing to happen?
That would. I think I'd have to move.
Yeah, I would never show my face again.
Like,
Nobody ran against me and I
how you do
lost.
that?
Like getting fired on your day off.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, thanks for the conversation. We kind of went all over the place today, but that's what
Yeah,
Hot
we did.
Topics is.
Every once in a while, we have to do that.
Yeah, Hot Topics is all about that. Whatever comes up and whatever comes out. Of course, just being election day had a little bit to do with it, but we went a lot of different places too. So, and got appreciate the people that came on and responded. And like Shona said, I like the setup we have
Subscribe,
now, where
like,
everybody
and
can see the
share.
comments. Yes, and please
Subscribe, like, and share.
and
It
share
doesn't
and
cost you a
continue
cent.
to comment. Continue to
Doesn't
comment.
cost you a cent. Definitely comment. Sears is
But
horrible. Who is
yeah,
Sears?
that's yeah. I don't. You would really if you lived here, you really would understand. She is
Wow.
she
I
is a piece
hope
of
to
work.
move to Mar-a-Lago and be Trump's mate. Wow. Tell us how you
Oh
really
man, I didn't
feel.
see that part. Yeah, I'll tell you one thing about Lewis speaks his mind, and like he's been on several of our shows, and when we talk politics, and I respect him too because he's really involved. Excuse me, especially for the vets. He's a vet.
Okay.
Excuse me, he's a vet and he's really involved. But As far as politics goes, he's really been colorful on our shows and speaks his mind, and that's what we want people to really tell us what you're thinking, you
That's
know.
right.
And he comes on and does that, and he lives in Maryland. He brings on people from Maryland or from the DMV, which is Maryland, Virginia, and Del- DMV and Washington D.C. And we've had some great panels with people that he has brought on
Okay.
to have discussions about politics. And
Well, he
of course,
definitely
we
will
have
have to come back on.
yeah. So bring him on one of these shows since he is a classmate, and you will enjoy some of his takes on
Look
a
forward
lot of
to it.
different subjects. You know, but we grew up in Truxton together, and we were in the Imperials, our high school
The
fraternity, the
Imperials.
Imperials, the Imperials. He was president at one time. I was at one time, and we passed it around, but it kept us out of trouble. The
I remember
Imperials.
his name very well, seeing it a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah.
He was very popular back then.
He ran for student council president. Our senior year, I think. I think that was our senior year. Anyway, thanks, Lewis, for watching. We appreciate you, and thank you. You got it all out now. You want to you want to throw some shout outs to your family, to your kids, and when is that date again for? Because I want to keep that in mind. Because if that baby comes on the baby shower day, I would say no, that couldn't happen twice. I'm sure it's happened to other people. I'm sure it's happened to other people. I'm sure it wasn't the first time that happened to with my daughter. So, but if
Mhm.
that happens, how
That was
close? How close is she? What is she?
like I
Because you
said.
usually have them pretty late in the pregnancy, right?
She was she is due December 17th, which is about
Oh,
5 weeks out.
mhm, yeah.
And
Because Zuri
she
came
tried
about a
very
month
hard.
ahead of time.
There, about a month. Yep.
She
She
came
tried
about a
very
month ahead
hard
of
to
time.
come within these last 3 days, but my granddaughter is determined to make it to her baby shower. So she had
Boy,
them working to try to keep that baby in.
if that happens, let me know, and we're gonna have a special show about that because
I will do that. I will
because
even
that's
show you my new bundle of joy.
yeah, that is so crazy how that happened, and everybody's sitting around. She must be late, They expect her to be late, because she's like her 8th month, so
Maybe
takes a
she
little
thinks
while
she's
to get
gonna get
around.
some fried turkey Saturday. I don't know, but she needs to go ahead and just chill,
Just
just
chill
relax,
and
stay where
come
she
come
is.
when you're supposed to.
Exactly. Well, when she's supposed to come is when she comes.
Mm-hmm.
That's that has been tried and tested throughout history. The baby is the only one who knows when it's supposed to come
Yeah,
because that's when it happens
that's when
every
it
time,
happens. I'm coming
every
when
time.
I come.
Exactly.
Y'all just hold tight, and if I want to come a little early, I'm coming in too. So you you know you don't have
Well,
nothing
Miss
to do with
Winter
that.
Sage, we are waiting to welcome you whenever you come.
Yes,
Just
we
be
are.
healthy. Just
Just
be
take your
healthy and
time
happy.
and be
Yes.
healthy and be a blessing to the family. Is it the first or
No, sir. This is number 6.
number 6? Oh man, I know
I
she ain't
have
in no hurry to come out.
I have 5
I
great
got to come out and
grandchildren,
have
and she is
five
number
brothers.
6.
How many? What's the makeup,
It
girl?
will then be 3 great granddaughters and 3 great grandsons.
Wow, 6,
Uh, I feel very blessed.
and all of them came the same way,
Yes.
the natural way.
Yes.
Oh wow, okay, what a
And I've
blessing.
seen, I actually witnessed most of them come into the world. I was there for the birth.
And I know we're gonna go after this, but I have to ask this as a mother, as you as a mother, and have three children.
Yes,
And after you have that first child, and I know childbirth is not easy on a woman. I'm sure you agree.
I do agree. For me, I had it's very fulfilling for me to see uh, my grandchildren and great grandchildren come into the world because
Hmm.
I have three children. I had three C sections.
Okay, okay. But
So,
even that, that can be. But I always wonder, because I've seen women have six and maybe more, and then you've heard stories about 14 and 21 and things like that. Like, and I always wonder, after you have about three or four, and a woman gets pregnant again, does she say, "Oh Lord"? And, does the first thing think about, I got to go through this delivery again?
mm, well, for my granddaughter,
Because for some people say it gets easier, but some people it's just as. I mean, it's just.
it's just
I
as
just.
intense. It's
Yeah.
different with each pregnancy, so it's
Right.
not like this is a piece of cake. I've been through it before, several times. Each pregnancy is different. So,
Because I've heard women talk about. Uh, as a matter of fact, Joy Reid that comes on, she was talking about she has two or three, and she said it was the most pain. And she says that some people tell some ladies or girls, you'll make it through it. She said, if I would tell them that's the most pain I've ever experienced in my life.
yes.
And she
It's
did it
funny that
three,
you
and she
said
did
that
it three times.
because
That's what
I was
I would
just
close up shop after, after
I
one,
mean
if it was just.
all of all of you all of what that which you went through to birth your child, all of that pain, you don't forget it, but it's the pain really goes away. Your bigger focus is on holding that baby.
Hmm. And I've seen that, either on dramas or in real depictions of someone having the baby and how they go through all that and screaming and hollering, and then once they put that baby on that lady's chest or something like that, the smile
You
on her
you
face
talking
and
about the woman screaming and hollering or the baby?
both, and sometimes the husband, uh, I heard stories about the husband. I wasn't in there, but the husband fainting and the stuff like that. And I don't think I could do that. But I think the hospital, Jamie was born, and they said they didn't allow it. It was Norfolk Community over there by Norfolk State, the black hospital. And
Hmm.
I went there thinking, I'll be pacing up and down, smoking cigarettes and stuff like that. And they gave me her clothes and told me to go home and we'll call you. And
What?
that's what they did. Yeah. So,
Oh,
but anyway, that was
okay.
different from what I saw, you know, other fathers went to. And then later on in life, fathers be in the room right in there. I know I would have fainted. But
It was funny that
anyway, but.
you brought that up because I just spoke on that earlier today with my granddaughter. She was saying that
Hmm.
she had this stabbing pain in the back. I said, what I really hate is that ring of pain that goes around your entire body. She said,
Hmm.
yeah. And I stopped and thought about it. That was 52 years ago.
Hmm.
And I still remember it vividly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like you can still feel it, but I can imagine. Uh, but and I always, you heard me say it before, God knew what he was doing when he
That's right.
gave
Because
that assignment to women because
child, men would be out of their mind.
the world would cease
Be
to
cuckoo for
exist because there
cocoa
wouldn't
puffs
be
for
no more
somebody else.
babies, wouldn't be no
Okay,
more babies born,
they would be
after.
cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs,
Yeah,
and the women would have to raise the babies alone.
yeah.
Wow. But
But
yes,
yeah,
I will keep you
that's just
posted.
nature and how it works, and
It's
yeah,
amazing.
it's
Truly.
always been amazing to me, and it always will be. I would always have questions. Wow, how is that? You know, but
It's
thank
amazing.
God for that whole process
Yeah.
and bringing life into the world, and then that responsibility that the parents have to do the best they can. It's like you learn on the job. You have some experience from watching other people, but each experience is different. Or each way you raise your child is different, and it's
It
you know,
changes your entire life in an
yeah,
instant,
yep, yep,
forever.
forever and ever, and they will always be your babies. Yeah,
That's right.
always, no matter how old they get. My babies, my
That's right.
baby. Yep, but indeed.
All
Well,
right.
thank you, and thanks
Subscribe,
everybody
like,
for.
share, comment, and we love you.
Yes, we love you, and thanks for your comments. We appreciate you, and we'll be back next week with something.
Something, and I'll keep you posted on the baby watch.
Yes, indeed. Might be, who knows?
I can tell
Next
you
week
I'll be
might
tired
be.
next week because my weekend is going to be really full.
Yes, indeed.
I'll be
Yes,
happy.
indeed.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot, and make sure. I hope everybody who voted, the candidate you wanted to win, wins, and really serves us well. That's all we can wish for. And I hope it's all blue. That's my opinion. Hope it's all blue.
And continue to vote.
And
Vote till we get it right.
what I don't want to do this time is cut you off before you do your little wave.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, we got it in this time. Take care, everybody. We'll see you.